All right, all right, all right. Greetings and salutations. Welcome, wanderer, wayfarer, wildcat, and wizard warrior alike, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. Let me get this microphone correct here. Hope that works out for you. Hope that's the right ear, not the wrong ear, because the left ear is the wrong ear and the right ear is. All right, guys, to start off the show today, I want to make sure to remind you to check me out on www.buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday and put a little something, something in the tip jar, man. That really puts the lead in my pencil, if you know what I'm saying. Woohoo! All right, y'all good looking, sexy motherfuckers out in Happy Land. Welcome to the show, man. Day 65 of the 100-day challenge. Way of the Scholar Warrior. If it's day 65 of the 100-day challenge, that means beloved Tomas left us approximately 65 days ago, right? Does anybody recall the exact date? I do, man. In fact, I was just looking at it, but gonna stay out of that space right now. I'm gonna stay in a positive space where I want to share with you guys, since I'm on the seventh 10-day of this cycle. I am on the seventh virtue, so I'm working on frugality. So today, rather than buying my usual luxury Pilsner, I bought myself an off brand, which is cheap and cheaper in cost wise, but just apple juice, right? Tastes kind of like drinking out of the toilet. I guess that's what it tastes like. Kind of smells that way too. That's okay though. What are you gonna do? You just roll with the fucking punches, baby. Roll with the punches. Never let them see you sweat, and don't let them fucking take the lead out of your pencil, man. I'm gonna have myself a JP Farrell, man. I haven't had one in a couple of hours. I've been working hard, cracking the books, and trying to get together the goods to be able to talk to you guys. But recently, I ain't been feeling it, man. I haven't been feeling the live streams. I haven't been feeling like making a video. Some of you know the situation. Beloved Frater Tomas passed into the abodes of beyond, and that kind of fucking bummed me out. You know. But I am. Hope that wasn't too loud, man. Was that loud? I feel like I got a hot mic. I feel like that was a little bit loud. I've been on this 100-day challenge. I've been studying Wenzu, the further teachings of Lao Tzu. So let's get into chapter 65 of the Wenzu. I remind you guys to like and subscribe. All that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algorithms bark like Pavlov's dog. Thomas Cleary translated this. He says, legendary sage of ancient China, traditionally considered to be the author of the Tao Te Ching, one of the most popular classics of world literature. Now Lao Tzu's further teachings on the Tao are presented here in the first English translation of the Chinese text known as the Wenzi. Chapter 65 reads as follows. Lao Tzu said, small people pursue undertakings on the premise of profit. Small people in Chinese, in Taoist tradition and Confucian tradition, is represented by the two Chinese characters, Shao, meaning small, and Ren, and it actually means petty people. So small people or petty people pursue undertakings on the premise of profit. So they go into it looking for the goods, looking for the dollar. I recently encountered this situation in someone who was haggling over splitting hairs, and I was like, "Yeah, you're kind of missing the big picture, you know." Let's see, how could I express my undying? Oh, I forgot. Let us join me in prayer for just a moment. Let us ask for divine guidance at the start of each session. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things, both visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us one of your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angel, to protect and guide us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere and a cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. Amen. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Abracadabra. I hate those TikTok memes. That's actually a pretty good one though. I enjoyed listening to those two German guys rapping back and forth. Small people pursue undertakings on the premise of profit. Exemplary people pursue undertakings on the premise of justice. So here, this more strikes of Confucianism than Lao Tzu, than Taoism, because Lao Tzu gets a little bit into Shaolin and what we call Genren or real people. So the Chinese character, the comparison is typically between the superior person and the petty person. But here Thomas clearly chose to translate it a little differently. He translated it as small people and exemplary people. I think it lacks the original flavor. Doing good is not for reputation, but reputation follows it. There you go. So you do good for goodness sake alone, right? You do something out of sincerity and genuineness. You do it because it's right to do it, or you think it's, whatever you think it's right to do. But truly, like if you understand the teaching of Tao, you follow your virtue. I'll give you an example of what they mean by virtue. They don't mean just following these stock words like I've got on my wall over here: order, diligence, humility, dutifulness, sobriety, temperance, and frugality. That's the first 7 of my 10 because I'm doing 10 virtues for a 10-day each, which means I focus on it for 10 solid days, a single isolated virtue in everything I do and say. Like today, I had an interaction with someone and I was like, frugality, right? Be frugal in one's speech. When I went to buy myself a couple of Pilsners, I saw be frugal in one's spending, right? Frugal with oneself and generous with others. Um, but one's virtue lies also in what are you, right? Like a rose bush, its virtue is to produce beautiful flowers, but at the same time, extremely sharp and dangerous thorns. So someone might run into a rose bush and get all caught up in the thorns and cut and slash and say, oh, the nature of this vile bush, right? But that's its virtue. Uh, Imagine if you're walking down a wilderness path in the mountains and you come across a grizzly bear. Um, it's being virtuous in ending you, right? Rawr, whack, slaps you. Maybe grizzly bears don't normally eat people, as far as I know. But if it's in the birthing cycle or whatever, and it's got little ones nearby, you're dead, bro. No matter what kind of gun you're packing, very few people can survive a grizzly bear encounter, except for maybe Paul Bunyan, or David Bowie. Is that his name? The guy that made the Bowie knife. I think I got my historical figures mixed up. Doing good is not for reputation, but reputation follows it. Just like money follows it. Money follows virtue. Live to your virtue, live to your bliss, like that old psychologist said, the forefather of Freud. Reputation does not anticipate profit. But profit winds up there. Yeah, so he said the same thing. Money follows virtue. What is sought may be the same, but the ultimate end is different. Yeah. So what is sought may be the same, but the ultimate end is different. So it happens that loss follows where there is gain, and gain follows where there is loss. Yeah, they always speak in these what are called poetic couplets or in pairs of antonyms, right? So by going out the door, you enter a new space. And by leaving the old space, you go out the door. You go in the door into a new space and out of the old space, out of the door, out of the old space, right? So these kind of balancing yin yang expressions. One's a feminine expression, one's a masculine expression. And Taoism, if nothing else, follows very closely to what's known as natural law. Natural law means the way that the natural world and the universe organizes itself, which I've talked about in the past. Those whose words are not consistently true and whose behavior is not consistently appropriate are small people or petty people. Again, a little bit of a discrepancy in the translation, according to my flavor. Got myself a little bit of gasoline here. Rocket fuel. That's what my dad used to call it. Those whose words are not consistently true and whose behavior is not consistently appropriate are small people. Okay, so this is a big thing in the Chinese original, Zhen Hua, or the truth of the heart, right? True heart language. So coming straight out of the Christ consciousness. Appropriateness is known as Fun Cun, and it means propriety. Like, what do you do in certain situations? In cold weather, you wear a jacket, right? In hot weather, you get down to the wife beater, like me, like I am right now. In my free time, my relaxing time, I can have some strong drink, dried meats, a little bit of tobacco. That's my personal choice in my private setting, my private dwelling, my sanctuary, my abode. But it's never appropriate to do that in public, right? Like I saw some teachers standing at the gate of the academy, vaping and smoking cigarettes and cutting up, and I was like, "Oh my God, you guys, you're not long for this school. You're you're not going to get your contract renewed." And then they like several of them got cut, and one of them he came up and he asked me for help. He's like, "As a department supervisor, can you do anything to help me out?" And I'm like, I thought to myself, "I can do my best, man. I'll put in a good word on your behalf." But I kind of gave him the eye, the stink eye. Like when I walked by the gate and gave you the stink eye for standing there, vaping and talking shit with your buddies, I thought that was my attempt to help you out. I kind of tightened up my tie a little bit and I was like, really, is this what you guys want to do in front of a school that's K through 12? Like I could understand if it was like I don't know, a company, a corporation, a private company, or because it's not. I mean, it's basically a public institute, but it's not. At the same time, it is privately funded. But I don't even if it was like adult school or something, the factory, but in front of a 5-star K through 12 academy that like prides itself on being um like who's the French gal, the Montessario, or it's actually the Steiner model. Our school is based on Rudolf Steiner's. I forgot what he called his educational model, but like from ground up, this is a Steiner school. Like it's got lots of art and dance, and they do gardening and all kinds of stuff. So, um, I mean, if I stood out there drinking beers and puffing away on cigars, I don't think I would be in the position I'm in. So, guys, in Chinese, that's called feng cun. And I broke feng cun the other day. I was walking by a couple of beautiful elder gals, like middle-aged gals, and I was like, "Ni hao, ming nian." I said, "Hello, beautiful women," which is very low class, but it's also kind of polite. It's like obsequious, right? Like kind of sycophantry, which is sometimes okay, but not generally. But that's not how I was really feeling at the time. I was feeling kind of randy. And so it just slipped out. It was like, well, that's my virtue. You know, like a rose bush has thorns, a a satyr has horns. So yeah. Let's get into this last part of it, guys. Those who are perceptive in a single matter and expert in one skill are mediocre people at best. Specialization is for insects, man. That's a direct quote from Dr. Bob. Those who have everything and use their abilities in a measured way are sages. There you go, man. There you go. I heard the expression master of all trade or jack of all trades, master of none. Not true. You need to be a jack of all trades and master as many of those as you can. But at the same time, use your abilities in a measured way, abiding by appropriateness, frugality, consistency, and truth. Right in the great word in the beautiful timeless words of Israel Regardie in his book the Garden of Pomegranates. Right. Um, Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. I'm gonna leave you guys there with chapter 65 of the Ones Who Understanding the Mysteries, the Further Teachings of Lao Tzu. And I'm gonna wish you all a wonderful Father's Day is coming up. I'm not gonna say Pride Month because I think that's a crock of shit, and I think it goes directly antithetical to the natural law. So go fuck yourself if that's. I mean, if that's your gig, it's your gig. Get it? You know, I get you, but don't push your politics on me. Into the abodes of the future, y'all good looking sexy people. I will see you on the next transmission. Until then, at Astro Paraspera, keep doing good magic.